Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Maurice back again with another video. Sorry for the wait. Your boy been busy. It's been an eventful couple of weeks, and it's going to get even more eventful. But I saw that this was released not too long ago, so I've had a little bit of time to think about this new hero pack and how she's a little bit different than all the other heroes and yeah, so I'll finally go ahead and give my thoughts. Shout out to my boy CN Spartan for keeping me accountable for the lack of uploads. But now I got a little bit of time to record some thoughts, and I'm happy that we're starting to see more of these. Well, just more of X Men. It's exciting to see what awaits us, and just like Cyclops, Jean Grey comes through with some interesting mechanics with her. It's cool that the innovation is still there with these particular heroes. I don't know if she's the same as Cyclops in the sense that as more cards come out, as long as there are more tactic upgrades or cards that uses the tactic keywords, in X Men that just come out, Cyclops would get better. For her, hers is a little bit more different, and I'll go into a little bit more about what I mean by that because her kit is extremely interesting, and people may not figure her out until she come out and you get that opportunity to play her because hers is not as obvious on what you want to do, but uh, you do have a bit of room to kind of play with how you truly want to go out and play as Jean Grey. So let's go ahead and get started. So with her, we had a Jean Grey. This is some beautiful artwork. Mutant Psionic setup. Put your Phoenix Force upgrade into play. Restrained side face up. Place 4 counters on them, and we'll get more into that as we go along, looking at her different cards on what that means. And then her response after you make a basic recovery, so that's using this, place 1 power counter on Phoenix Force. So we already see here that we've got a mechanic going on. We're putting power counters onto her passive, or excuse me, her Phoenix Force upgrade, which is a permanent, and we'll get to it. But she has a hand size of 6, hit points of 9. That 9 is a little low. That's worrying. There's a handful of heroes that got the 9 hit points, and they're not technically the weaker heroes, surprisingly. But with that 9, that is worrying, especially when you have people like Ronan that can one shot you like it's nothing, or even Rhino. Depending on how things get with him. But yeah, so this is pretty run of the mill. The hit points is a little low, but you know maybe there's a reason behind that. So we have her. So this is the permanent upgrade that was mentioned on her alter ego side. Phoenix Force. There's no cost; it just comes out. And this is the restrained side of it. We see it's permanent, so it's always going to be out there. You gain the restrained trait. Cool. We already got it. Force response after the last power counter is removed from hero. Flip this card. So going back to her alter ego, we see that as soon as the game starts, you put 4 counters on that restrained side, and whenever you recover, you place 1 on the Phoenix Force. So the cool thing about this is, they have the unleashed side, which we'll get to. And I don't know how many of y'all play League of Legends, but I'm a huge League of Legends fan. And her kit reminds me of Gnar, if you're familiar with the game, where he's this little furry creature with a boomerang, and whenever he defeats a certain amount of minions, or whenever he attacks the opposing player for a certain amount of hits, he has a little rage bar that builds up, and once it's full, within a certain amount of seconds, or the next time you use an ability, he turns into this gigantic monster for a certain period of time. And I feel like this is the direction that we're going with Jean Grey. But you have more things in your kit to kind of adjust when you want to go into that particular phase. But yeah, we'll get more into that as we go on. So here's her hero side, Phoenix 3 thwart. This She might be the first one with 3 right out of the gate. Because I know that you can get Ironheart up to 3, but right out of the right fresh out the pack, I think she might be the first one. That's actually kind of cool. 1 attack, it is what it is. 2 defense. Psionic X-Men. Oh, she's the first Psionic, I think. Psionic Bond. Hero resource. Remove one power counter from Phoenix Force. Generate a wild resource. So this is kind of an alternate version of what we saw with Venom earlier on. Where with Venom, I think his is also limit once per phase, but you lose a health to be able to generate a wild resource. He starts with 12, so it's understandable why he can afford to lose some life while he does it. But for her, this is a part of that balancing act with her unleashed and restrained. You're if you're taking power counters away, then that's tipping you closer towards being towards that unleashed side. She got the 5 hand size, 9 hit points, pretty run of the mill. Even though the hit points is a little low, but this is to be expected. So, but that's cool that she have that three thwart. That'll work favor. So that she's probably going to be favored um, in Justice. You got Phoenix Force here. You gain the Unleashed trait. Phoenix gets -2 thwart, +2 attack. After a power counter is placed here, if there are 4 or more power counters here, flip this card. So this is interesting. So we see here we got the -2 thwart, +2 attack. So if we go back to her card, so that'll leave her with a 1 thwart, 3 attack. So they pretty much just swap values. But like I mentioned earlier, if you're going Justice, if you have the heroic intuition out, where it gives you the +1 thwart, that'll leave her with a 2-3-2 stack line, which that can be crazy. That can be crazy. Yeah. So with the Unleashed trait, now you go from Restrained to Unleashed, and now we'll get to see as we go along the different cards that are affected by her Phoenix Force, depending on what trait that you're on. So we got her a 2 cost support, White Hot Room. That's pretty cool. Location Phoenix, alter ego action, exhaust White Hot Room. And you choose one. You either place a power counter on Phoenix Force, or you can heal 2 damage. So this would be a nice way to uh, figure out that balancing act. If you're unleashed and you flip over, you're probably going to be healing yourself too. Or if you think it's time to flip back over to where you need to do more thwarting, then you place that one power counter back on there. And you can actually just recover and place another one on there, so you're getting towards it rather quickly. So yeah, it's that balancing act of knowing how to be restrained or be unleashed with her, depending on what you need for that situation. So we got the Phoenix suit, 2 cost upgrade. Let's see. She gains the aerial trait. While you have the restrained trait, you gain steady. Okay, okay. While you have the unleashed trait, you gain 1 retaliate. Okay, okay. So if I remember correctly, steady, I think you have to have 2 of the statuses for it to actually work, not including tough. So if you are to be stunned or confused, you have to have 2 of those on you to actually be stunned or confused. So that's not bad for restraint. And then for her to gain 1 retaliate, so this might lean towards, if you're going with a protection route with her, especially with her having such low hit points, this might be a a fire card to have. I'm not sure that there's that many aerial cards that are uh, protection outside of Ever Vigilant. There's not too many of them that's out there, but that may be a way to keep her from dying so quickly, since she got the 9 hit points. So our next card, the 2 cost event, Psychic Blast, Psionic, deal 4 damage to the villain. If you have the Unleashed trait, deal 4 damage to each minion engaged, which that's kind of crazy. So this would be that's actually kind of crazy. So this would be a nice way to kind of play into a minion summoning role, where you're playing as her, you get some minions out, you play a card like this, you can wipe out some minions. If you have Hall of Heroes, those tokens are stacking up so that you can flip down to have a pretty big turn next turn. That's actually a really good card, especially if you're in Unleashed. Because I mean, 2 for 4 is pretty standard, run of the mill, nothing crazy. But the fact that you can deal 4 damage to each minion engaged with you is kind of crazy. That's almost like um, Captain America's Shield Toss, which is pretty cool and way more efficient when it comes to, to the cost of that bad boy. All right, I'm liking that. 2 costs event, telepathic trickery, psionic thwart. Remove 4 threat from a scheme if you have the unleashed trait, stun and confuse an enemy. Oh, so she got some really powerful turns. So, oh, that's interesting because I wonder if one of the if the way to play her is just to kind of get all of your uh get some a heavy upgrade build where you just build her up and then allow her events to just wipe stuff out. That'd be crazy. Which, hey, y'all know how I roll, man. If you got a build hero, I'm all into that. So that's okay. So it definitely pays to be unleashed if you can, at least with a lot of her cards. If you were unleashed, you got some. She's packing some heat. I'm liking it. Let's see. One cost event, Phoenix Firebird. Hero action, choose one. So you either remove one power counter from Phoenix Force to ready her, or place 2 power counters on Phoenix Force. So this is a nice way to. This is a cool card. I hope that there's 2 to 3 of those in the deck for her because I feel like she may end up like Spectrum where it's a little harder to control the form that you in, which makes sense for a character like her specifically. But this is a nice way to kind of get to whatever phase you need to get to pretty quickly, whether if it's the restrained or if you're restrained and trying to get to unleash, or you unleash and trying to get to restrain. This is a nice way to get you there quicker, and especially with this one here, this first one where you remove a power counter to from it to ready her. So this could be a nice way for you to like thwart for 3, use this to ready yourself. If that's the last one, now your attack and thwart have changed, so now you can attack for 3. So that'd be a nice little combo right there. And this one, yeah, it's just a quick way for you to be able to get some power counters going, and or even if you just need the resources. I mean that'd be 1 for 2 resources over 2 turns. So, or I guess 1 turn if you use one for the hero phase and then the other one for the um, for the villain phase. That's a that's a nice efficient card. See, mind control, 4 cost upgrade attached to a non-elite minion. Take control of attached minion and treat it as a controlled ally with the blank text box. Its thwart is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 1 consequential damage after it thwarts. I actually like that to be able to. That'd be interesting, because there are some pretty nasty minions out there that you just don't want to deal with. So that'll allow you to be able to get them over to you. You know, whether if you use them as chump blockers or if they just got a nasty like 3 or 4 attack that's about to hit you. You know, for a 4 cost to bring them over to your side and then use them as allies. That's kind of nice. That's actually a really good card. I like that one a lot. Let's see, we got Telekinetic Shield, 2 cost upgrade, attached to a friendly character. Force interrupt. When attached character would take damage from an enemy attack. Place that damage here instead. Then if there's at least 5, discard. Oh, okay, so it's like Rhino's it's like Rhino's shield. I can't remember the name of it, but that's kind of nice. So if you're running a protection, uh so this would go well with the other card that she have, where if you're unleashed, you know, she's got the +1 retaliate or whatever. So this would be cool, you know, to soak up some damage, and it's kind of nice when you get to use some of the stuff villains have. Because those villains are they're terrible. But this, I like that card. This is a really good one, and that can soak up at least 1 damage, which is kind of nice. Considering some of these villains are getting out of control with the amount of damage they can do in 1 turn or 1 hit. Let's see, it's 3 cost upgrade, rise from the ashes. It's an interrupt. When you would be defeated, remove this card from the game. Ready your identity and restore its printed hit point value. Remove each power counter from Phoenix Force. That's actually a really quick way to get yourself to unleash. Oh, that's kind of crazy, yeah. Protection probably gonna be fire on her, man. That's actually not bad. That's like a souped up version of Captain America's helmet, where when he would be defeated, you would move his hit points back up to 1. So it's just a quick way for you to be able to, soak up some damage. Since he survived the attack, it allows you to retaliate. So this is a really good card. I like that a lot. Yeah, she might be fire and protection. Banshee. Let's see. 2/2, one consequential for 4 costs. Three. That's all right. Aerial X Men. So response after Banshee thwarts confuse a minion. I don't know how I feel about this one because with I guess is if you got the villain confused and you need to confuse the the minion before you flip down, that'll be a nice one. So yeah, I think with this one, this is one of the issues I have with Justice is their heroes or their allies just cost so much. I guess kind of crazy how much they cost, and for what they do with what they cost. I think a lot of them are overpriced for what they do, which is, I mean, it is what it is. But man, I don't know about that one, man. Like I don't think that this is a bad card. I just don't think it's worth 4, but like it's a decent card. Marvel Girl. Let's see, Rachel Summers. Okay, so she's a 3 cost, 2/1. Let's see, 3 HP. That's not too bad. Interrupt when Marvel Girl attacks a minion. Remove X threat from the main scheme, where X is that minion's printed scheme. Okay, okay. So you could use her as thwarting by herself, or if there's a definite threat out there. Especially with it being an interrupt, so you can technically pull this off if she attacks and it defeats uh that minion, but they have a pretty high scheme or whatever their scheme is. That'll allow her to be able to get an attack to remove a minion off of the off the board as well as remove some scheme depending on remove some threat depending on what their scheme is. So that's see this one is nice. I like this one. That's actually a cool card. Mission training. 1 cost upgrade attached to an X-Men ally. Attached ally gets +1 thwart and 2 hit points. That's dang. Dude, these X-Men are crazy with some like Voltron builds. Dude, they're gonna be crazy. Swift retribution. Oh, this is like the one that's already oh, they got the X-Men. Okay. Maybe that let us know that Gambit is coming next. Hey man, your boy ain't complaining, man. I'll take it. Let's see, psychic manipulation. Play only if your identity has a psionic. She's only one so far. When the villain schemes, this activation removes threat instead of placing it. That's actually a really good card. That's actually a really good card. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm down for it. And this, because this might be the first. This might be the first Justice card that you can play on the. Well, no, I guess technically not because there's the foiled and counter intelligence, I think. But this is actually a really good thwarting. I guess this may be the first thwarting card you can use to on the villain's turn that I can think of. But that's a really good card. I like that. 1 cost event mutant peacekeepers. Play only if your identity has X-Men trade. Exhaust your hero and any number of X-Men allies. Remove X threat from among schemes in play, where X is the total number of thwart. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, that's really nice. So you can pick and choose. So from among schemes in play. So you it's a 1 cost exhaust whoever, and then whatever their total uh, thwarting. Man, I'm struggling today. Whatever the thwarting is, you can just remove. So if you have somebody that have two thwart and then 2 allies with 1, so they give you 4. So you can take 2 off the main scheme and then the other 2 off a side scheme or something like that. That's kind of nice, especially if you can. And this works really well with her, especially with her having that 3 thwart. If you have heroic intuition boosted up 1, so that's 4 right there just off of her alone. So this is a really good card. Cerebro. All right. Play only if your identity has a mutant trait. Exhaust Cerebro. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for an X-Men ally. Search your whole deck instead if you control the site. That's crazy. And add the ally to your hand. So this is definitely a good one for her. I would even argue this would be a good one for Cyclops as well, for him to be able to, if you stack his deck with a ton of allies, like you're pulling an ally, which is crazy. But for her to be psionic and can, pull anybody, that's actually kind of wild. And for it to be one cost too, yeah, that's gonna be fire. Burning Hunger is her obligation. Give to the Jean Grey player. When revealed, if you have the Unleashed trait, search the encounter deck discard pile and set aside area for Dark Phoenix and reveal her. Then remove Burning Hunger from the game. If you have the Restrain trait, remove one power counter from Phoenix Force and this card's gain Surge. Interesting. So this one just straight up punishes you for being in Phoenix. Yeah, being in Unleashed. That's actually kind of crazy. Because I don't think that if you have one left and you're restrained and it removes it, I don't think that this would activate to bring in uh, Dark Phoenix. I don't think that's how it will work, but it definitely gets you there closer and may kind of throw off your plan on when you decided to flip. That this card can be dangerous. Dark Phoenix. All right, here we go. So she's a 2/2 steady toughness. Oh my goodness, villainous. An elite 12. Oh, okay, Ronin Jr. When Dark Phoenix schemes, place that threat on Consume the World if able. When revealed, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for Consume the World and reveal it. Yeah, that encounter set must be crazy if if this specifically targets it. But she have that opportunity to come out before Shadows of the Past. Man, this she makes Shadows of the Past even spookier, man. That's crazy. Steady tough. She literally comes out as a whole new villain, man. Oh, she's disgusting. Like this might be worse than Hulk's. Consume the world. Permanent. While there is no threat here, this scheme loses the boost icon for I guess the additional boost icon. After threat is placed here, if there is at least 12 threat here, the players lose the game. Wow. Wow. All right. All right. That's actually kind of cool to have a new losing condition in the game. As if the game isn't hard enough as it is. But I actually kind of respect this one quite a bit. But yeah, that's Phoenix. I think that she's going to be one. I don't. My prediction is she's not going to be popular right out the gate, but I think there's going to be some people in the community that's going to find some powerful builds with her. I think she's going to be strongest in either justice or protection, and I think that she can wreak some havoc in either one of those. I think her biggest issue, maybe two biggest issues. I don't know that she does enough damage in her kit right now, and I don't think, man, that nine hit points ain't kosher. I don't think that's like that's kind of tough. I wish she was more of like an 11 or a 12 to be able to deal with some of the stuff that's going on. I don't see how. I think she would be very good at like controlling the board. That's going to be her main thing. But if you're looking for damage, I don't think that is necessarily here. But I think that you can create some decks to get her to the damage that she needs to be at. She don't have any resource generators outside of her psionic bond, but even then you're kind of playing with some dangerous games, and you're only limited to once per phase. So I think that she's going to be strong. If like just looking at the cards that we have now, I put her like a B minus. Like I don't think that she's atrocious, but like she's not going to be friendly to newer players. I think that this is definitely aimed towards more advanced players in the game where on paper she's okay, but you bring in some more cards and just experience to the game, and she can easily jump up to like an A+ character. So I think that she's going to be interesting. I appreciate that uh, Fantasy Flight has done this with a lot of different heroes, where you have one of those heroes that's decent to good, or well, let me rephrase that. They are more user friendly, and then they introduce another character that takes some accustomed to, take some time to really get to learn and know what they are, and reward you for building around that kind of tough system to build. It rewards you for the creativity. So we've been seeing that quite a bit, and I think because I look at Nova and Ironheart, like I think Ironheart is very straightforward. You're just trying to get those progress tokens to get her to her version 3, and then just wreck shop. And then you have Nova, who has a lot of interactions and don't seem that strong right from the jump, but he has more creativity with the builds that you can make out of him. And I think that this is the same with Cyclops and Jean Grey. Like I think Cyclops overall, as long as X-Men allies are being put in the game, he's going to continue getting stronger. As they continue to put the tactic upgrades in the game, he's going to continue to get stronger. With her, it's figuring out whatever this puzzle is, and then kind of playing around that puzzle. And I think that her puzzle may take a while for some people to really grasp and catch on to her. So I think that she's definitely, in that kind of mystic range with Marvel champions, where those tend to have kind of more complex builds. You look at Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and Adam Warlock, where they're heroes that can do a lot, but they do take some figuring out to get. Because even with Doctor Strange, as broken as he is, you still got to pilot him correctly to get those 1 to 2 cards down on the table to really feed that engine that just turns him into an uncontrollable beast. So I'm not saying that Phoenix is on that level, but she has some of the same sentiments. So I'm excited to see. I'm just excited to get my hands on these heroes, to try them out, to kind of deck build. I think that heroes like Jean Grey is what makes this game great. Is that they don't, on face value, they don't look that amazing, but when you start deck building and you kind of understand what the game designers are trying to get you to do with this hero, and the creativity is rewarded from that, that's where this game really shines, my opinion. So I'm excited to see how she turns out. Get to playing around with some different cards with her, and just trying to figure out. I think she's going to be a fun puzzle to figure out. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm excited to see. I am predicting. I don't think that she's going to be as popular straight out of the gate. I think some people are going to see this and be like, "Yeah, it's okay." But I think that this is what makes Marvel Champion shine. Will she be my favorite? Probably not, to be honest. But I think that figuring out her just that equation of what she is, I think is what makes this game great, and that's what's going to draw me into her. Where she may not be my favorite, but consistently figuring it out, I'll be at work just thinking about deck builds around her, because her kit is that interesting and that intricate. So, but yeah, let me know what you all think. Hit that like button, drop a comment. I love interacting with people. If you're not subscribed, I love for you to be subscribed there. I promise I'll get better with my uploads. But thank you for your time, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.